Love warriors. Greetings, love icons. Y'all, this is a 432 hertz tuning fork. Okay? This tuning fork is used to clear, to reset your energetic field. Okay? What we're talking about today is the frequency of truth. The frequency of truth. Okay, we're going to talk about strengthening your intuition to be able to recognize lies, to be able to recognize truth, more importantly, in a world of fake news. Okay, this is going to be such a good talk. I'm using this tuning fork to immerse my body in frequencies that feel like the frequency of truth. Okay, 432 hertz is a frequency that takes us into the heart chakra, activating universal love, which triggers our body to begin healing itself. Okay, it triggers our physical and emotional body to begin healing itself. Greetings, Digimo from New York. Greetings, Jatin from the UK. How are you all tonight? Y'all, I want to always be acclimating my body, my physical body and my emotional body to the frequency of truth. Okay? And it's so important in this world that we live in today with all the fake news, right? People say the truth hurts, but you can't truly heal emotionally without connecting to the truth. This truth may be that, you are worthy of love. It may be the truth that your parents or a loved one, that hurt you, that what they did to you was not about you. It was in truth about them, right? But we must connect to the truth in order to begin to heal, okay? So we are living in a time where it's becoming increasingly and increasingly difficult to determine what's real and what's fake news, right? So our daily headlines are triggering fear, anger, hatred, anxiety, rage, hopelessness, right? But your intuition is the most valuable tool that you can use to guard against deception. So we're going to talk about sharpening our intuition, right? So that we are not triggered by deception and false threats, okay? Thank y'all so much for joining me. Peace and love to everybody in the chat. Please say hello as you come into the chat, okay? So I'm going to give you guys some simple tips to achieve master level intuition, okay? I'm going to give you some tips to help you achieve master level trust in your intuition. And if you stay until the end, I'm going to give you an exercise. I'm going to give you step-by-step for this exercise that you can do daily or as often as you're able to, right? To build this instinctive weapon that you have against deception, okay? So if you stay to the end, don't skip to the end. If you're watching this video later, stay to the end because these steps I'm going to give you first, they're all going to build upon each other. And at the end, I'm going to give you an activity to do, okay? Is that a deal? Does that sound good to y'all? Y'all, we need to be able to recognize the truth from lies in this environment that we're living in, okay? Whether it's the simplest lie or an intricate web of lies. We need to be able to recognize the frequency of truth, okay? Now, we are going to, before we get into the details, I'm going to quickly introduce myself and also invite you to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications if you like this type of information so I can get more of that to you, okay? My name is Pangia Northstar. I'm a healer. I'm an empath. I do sound therapy, Reiki treatments, distance Reiki. I give energy readings, and I'm a teacher of spiritual things. Okay, so I teach seekers like you, seekers of the truth, how to attract love and the life that they truly desire using the laws of attraction. Okay. So if you like this type of content, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Turn on those notifications. And you also may be interested in the Elemental Soul. Okay. There's an app called the Elemental Soul where you can find more of my content is going up. I have more content going up by the end of this month. Okay, or you can just go to the elementalsoul.com. Okay, so that's two options: download from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, or go to the elementalsoul.com. Okay, so now you guys, we're going to get into this: how to recognize the frequency of truth. Okay, recognizing the frequency of truth is so important in this day and time that we live in, y'all. So though we talked about this tuning fork, right, that takes us into our heart chakra, right? We're also going to discuss the energy of the solar plexus chakra, the energy of the third eye. We're going to mention that, right? Those both have to do with intuition. And then we'll wrap back around to the heart for our activity, okay? So, y'all, the solar plexus chakra is located below your sternum, but above your navel. Okay, so right where your digestive area is, right where your stomach is. Okay, and the energy of the solar plexus chakra has to do with your personal power. Okay, trusting yourself, having confidence, having a strong sense of self, right, and locating and observing the boundaries of your thoughts and feelings versus the thoughts and feelings of other people. Okay, so this is a very important chakra. Chakras are energy centers within your body. Okay, and it's very important to be familiar with these and know how to utilize the energy and how to balance the energy. Okay, so you guys, the first tip I'm going to give you on strengthening your intuition, learning to recognize truth, is what I call reverse verification. Okay, reverse verification. So what most of us do when we have a thought, we get an intuitive hit, we kind of ignore that immediately if we don't already have information that verifies that truth. Okay? So this is the opposite of what we want to do. Okay? What I'm encouraging you to do is to believe your intuition first and then verify. Okay? Treat it as truth. Go ahead and treat it as truth. Use it as a basis for your research rather than believing research over your intuition or, common beliefs that are already out here. So if you get an intuitive hit and you're like, man, that's contrary to common beliefs that I already know of, don't worry about that. I want you to start with your intuitive hit and then find the facts that verify that. Okay, and I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, I got an intuitive hit one time while I was writing an online course. Okay, a class that I teach virtually. Okay, this was a class for women, and I got an intuitive hit that women's bodies actually reabsorb eggs. Okay, that we actually reabsorb our eggs. Okay, now the way that we are taught, our common beliefs are that a woman's body expels the eggs monthly when she has the menstrual cycle. That's a common belief. But what did I put in my Google search? Women absorb unfertilized eggs. That's what I put in my Google search. I didn't just put in, well, what happens to eggs, women's eggs that aren't fertilized. I didn't do that. Had I done that, every video, every common belief, every old way of thinking about this issue would have came up, right? But when I put in women absorb unfertilized eggs, it took me directly to more current research that proved my intuitive hit. Okay? So what I'm sharing with you is that many times we are just when we're just learning to trust our intuition and we're given like small pieces of the puzzle or like breadcrumbs to follow, we're getting itty bitty pieces of information that kind of serve as like a treasure hunt. Okay? When you're first learning to trust your intuition, you're not going to get these huge concepts. Okay? You're not going to get these huge concepts because your divine guidance knows what will and what won't overwhelm you. Okay? So take those small breadcrumbs, act on them, accept them as truth, and then you go and find your evidence. Okay? And a lot of times you don't have to go look for it. Many times it's going to come to you. Okay? That's the beauty of the journey. Okay? So you're not necessarily getting the keys to the universe, right? Your guides, your divine guidance are going to drop nuggets that are particular to you in your journey, that's relevant to you right now. And then you'll start to get intuitive hits that are bigger and bigger. Okay? So that's step number 1. That's tip number 1, reverse verification. Okay? Now, if you've ever had a moment where you felt that something was true, you knew in your mind that something was true, but you didn't act on it, and then later on you found out that it was true and you kind of kicked yourself for not acting on it, let me know in the chat. Let me know what happened. What was that intuitive hit about? Okay, I think we've all had those moments. Has that share a time with me where that's happened to you? Okay, have you ever had a moment where you knew that you knew something, but because you didn't see anything around you to verify that, you didn't act on it, then later on something comes right to you that proves what you thought you knew, and then you're kicking yourself, right? I'm sure that has happened to us. Let me know what that intuitive hit was about. Okay, let me know in the chat. Okay, now tip number 2, as I'm waiting on those comments to come in, tip number 2, neutrality. Okay, neutrality. Bringing your mindset, bringing your emotional state into a state of neutrality. Okay, becoming neutral when you're asking a question within yourself. Okay, bringing your emotions to a place where you're neutral, where you're like, hey, whatever the answer is, I'm not going to crash out, right? I'm not going to get all emotional. I can accept the truth either way. I just want to know the truth, right? Why am I saying you need to become neutral? Because your ego can mask itself as intuition, right? Think about it. Fearful thoughts can sound like your intuition. You can become suspicious based on a past experience that you had, a totally different situation with a totally different person, totally different scenario, totally different place, right? And if you're not healed, you haven't moved on completely from that trauma, it can pop back up in a new situation, and you can be confused. If you're in your emotions and you're not neutral, you can create a story in your head related to that past hurt and think it's intuition. Has anybody ever experienced this? How do you know the difference between your fear and your intuition. Ask yourself this question. Are you creating a story in your head that is related to the past, a past hurt, or are you future casting? Are you thinking, oh my God, what if this happens? Oh, I see what's about to happen here, right? I see what you're trying to do. Are you thinking thoughts like that? That's not your intuition, okay? That's not how it comes, okay? Give me some fire in the chat. If you've ever experienced this, if this makes sense to you, give me some fire in the chat right now. So tip number 2 is neutrality. Become neutral in your emotions, okay? Number 3, y'all, we're not gonna be going through these tips long. We're gonna get to the activity as soon as possible, okay? But I want to give you these tips because they shed light on the activity, okay? They kind of give you some guidance and they set up the activity very nicely, okay? But this exercise is going to set you up to be able to recognize lies immediately. And it doesn't matter who it's coming from what direction, and who all is believing the lie, okay? Tip number 3 is get sunlight. Get sunlight. Now that may sound weird, but listen, learning to discern the truth, learning to recognize the frequency of truth. This may sound really daunting. It may sound like it's going to be difficult. It may sound nearly impossible in this day and age. We've got fake news. We got people using AI in various ways, right? But we have so much support from the universe right now to recognize truth. And one of those forms of support is sunlight. The earth is being flooded with literal light of truth, light codes of truth. This is happening through solar flares, solar winds, and the alignment of the planets that are happening this year and at this very moment. Okay? So this sunlight powers up your solar plexus chakra, which is the chakra we're talking about right now. The chakra that has to do with your personal power, your sense of self, right? The ability to determine your thoughts and feelings from someone else's feelings, someone else's thoughts and feelings, which may be lies. Okay? So the sunlight powers up that solar plexus chakra, which is where we perceive confirmation of the intuitive hit that's coming through our third eye. Okay? So in most conversations where people are talking about intuition, they're primarily talking about the third eye, because the third eye is a receiver and a transmitter. Okay? And this is the chakra, the energy center through which we receive intuitive hits. Okay? Intuitive nudges, right? But where do we receive confirmation? Where do we feel the confirmation or the rejection of all information that we get, be it intuitive or something someone is feeding us? It's from our solar plexus chakra, okay? It's through our solar plexus chakra that we get that confirmation. And our solar plexus chakra is powered by the sun. So get as much sunlight as you can possibly get, okay? Enjoy nature. Be outside. Be outside in nature. Soak up these light codes that are hitting the earth. Because when the light of truth meets your desire for the truth, deceptions are exposed, okay? Give me some fire in the chat if this resonates with you. Give me some fire in the chat if you've experienced this. If you've been in a situation where you just like, you feel a little funny and you start to recognize that, man, something I'm hearing is a lie. Something I'm hearing is not true. Something I'm seeing it's a little fishy. It's questionable, right? And you're not really sure where that's coming from, but you know within yourself, no, this ain't it. This right here, this is not it. Okay, so yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for those confirmations. Now, all right, if you feel this is resonating with you, if you feel the fire in your gut, give me fire in the chat. If this information is resonating with you, okay? By the way, I mentioned solar flares, solar winds, and planetary alignments. One of my favorite astrologers is Pam Gregory. So if you have an interest in astrology, check out her channel. Okay. Now, next tip. Reduce social media and news media. What? Reduce your intake of social media and news media. Okay? Why? Why? Tuning in to too many outside voices clouds the recognition of your own voice. Okay? And this is for people who are experienced with this as well as people who are new. Okay? Occasionally, you need to take a break. You need to take a break. I don't like to watch the news at all, personally. I'm not going to turn on the evening news or the nightly news or the morning news. I'm not going to do that. And there's things that I want to know about and I need to know about. I can choose to go like to reputable news sources online. That way I can read the headline of the article first and then select whether or not I want to hear about that. So that I'm controlling what information I'm being introduced to rather than allowing all this information and negative energy to be dumped on me. When it comes to social media, I've curated all my pages. Meaning I've gone in and unfollowed things that I don't want to be exposed to. Negative energy, right? But aside from that, I'm not spending hours doom scrolling. Not doing that. Okay? You guys, you've got to reduce your social media and your news media intake in order to start becoming familiar with your intuition and learning how to recognize the voice of your intuition. This is a must. There are legions of voices out here with all types of agendas and, energies attached to them, just waiting to attach to you. Okay? And your intuitive hits are original thoughts. You've got to learn how to recognize the voice of your original thoughts, not implanted thoughts. Social media and news media, those are implanted thoughts and ideas. You've got to know how to recognize the voice of your divine guidance. The same way you know the voice of your parents, your partner, your friends, because you listen to it often, right? Right? You hear it often. You listen to it often. So if someone did a voice lineup and placed your best friend in the voice lineup, you would be able to pick up the voice of your best friend or your partner, right? Yes. Yes. This is the point we want to get to with our divine guidance, okay? With the voice of our highest self, okay? Two more tips, and then we're going to get to the activity, okay? The step-by-step exercise I'm going to give you to sharpen your intuition, okay? And to recognize quickly, to recognize the frequency of truth, okay? Fasting and meditation, okay? Fasting and meditation. Okay. Now, I have another video out about increasing your intuition. I went into more depth there um, about how to sharpen your intuition. So I'm not going to go do the full breakdown here, but I want to say this about fasting. Fasting quiets toxic chemical messengers. Toxic chemical messengers. Okay. Chemical messengers are chemicals that in your body that send messages to your brain. Okay. Your brain receives chemical messengers. Even your hormones produce, they are chemical messengers, right? That give your brain the urge to do certain things. Okay. So when you're fasting from taking in any food at all, or even taking in certain toxins, like if you have a little bad habit that you normally partaking in, you don't have to completely fast from eating it all. You can fast from that activity, okay? From taking in that toxin. If you smoke, if you drink, if you eat potato chips, you can reduce the toxins that are sending messages to your brain. Quiet those messages, okay? Also, fasting helps to fight off parasites, okay? To slow down the replication of parasites in your digestive system, okay? So the waste that parasites in your system produce, parasites and or harmful bacteria, the waste that they produce act as chemical messengers to your brain. And they are causing you to crave more of whatever it is that feeds them. So when you fast, it quiets your mind, okay? It quiets these messages, and it increases the clarity of your divine guidance, okay? That's why fasting is a part of most major religions. I don't think there's one major religion that doesn't include fasting, okay? Not that I'm promoting religion, but I'm just making a point. Okay, and with meditation, meditation is quieting your mind, becoming still, intentionally listening for your higher self, okay? And it helps you to become familiar with the voice of your higher self, which is what we're talking about, okay? When your higher self is dropping in, you become familiar with that higher frequency, okay? You become familiar with the higher frequency feeling tone of peace and love, subtle messages, or big downloads, okay? But meditation helps you become familiar with that, okay? So I'm about to give you guys the big activity. We're going to move into the setup for the big activity, okay? But before we do that, if you've ever tried reducing social media or news media, fasting, or meditation, let me know in the chat. Say, I've tried it. Let me know if you've tried it. And did you notice a difference in your clarity? Okay? Let me know. Put intuition, fasting, or meditation. I'm sorry, reducing social news media, fasting, or meditation in the chat. Let me know which one you tried. And if you noticed a difference in your clarity. Y'all, I'm not able to see y'all's messages right now. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. There we go. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Now, we are going to move into the setup of the activity. Somebody let me know in the chat, put a message in there just so I can confirm whether or not I'm seeing you guys' messages. Okay. Alrighty. Now, you guys, we're going to go into heart chakra energy. Okay. Heart chakra energy, which I mentioned at the beginning of the message. Okay. The heart chakra energy, one of the things that the heart chakra energy is about is love. We talked about that, right? Universal love, right? But it's also about the recognition of truth. Okay. It's about the recognition of truth. Think about it. How many times have you heard it said, oh, I know in my heart, or I believe with all my heart? Okay. Why are we talking about the heart with what we know and what we believe? Because the heart chakra energy has to do with the recognition of truth. Okay? Give me some fire in the chat if that makes sense. Okay? Now, listen to your body. Okay? I want you to begin listening to your body. Okay? To get yourself into this heart chakra energy, to familiarize yourself with the frequency of truth. Okay? Our physical and energetic bodies are wired with survival instincts, and our intuition is one of them. Okay? So I want you to pay attention to some things in your body. Okay? And these are not the steps yet, but I want you to listen carefully to this. Okay? Pay attention to the difference in the feelings of fear, frustration, anxiety, versus the calm whisper of your divine guidance. Okay? Where in your body do you feel the thoughts that are coming in? When you are receiving information, I want you to begin noticing where you feel the emotion inspired by those thoughts. Okay? Where in your body do you feel those thoughts that are coming in? Is it the same place in your body where you feel panic, suspicion, guilt, or anger? Or ask yourself, are you feeling the thoughts in the same area of your body where you feel calm, grounded, knowing, comfort, relief, and clarity? Those emotions appear in different places in our body. They give us sensations in different places in our bodies. And the feelings themselves are different, right? Panic and calm feel different. And our physical body gives us different indicators, right? Think about how your breathing is when you're calm versus how your breathing is when you're panicked, right? Sensations in the body that happen when you're thinking harmful thoughts. So untrue thoughts are harmful thoughts, right? Harmful thoughts, sensations that happen in your body when you're thinking harmful thoughts feel similar to the sensations in your body that happen when you do other things like eat something unhealthy, say something that's untrue or unfair to someone, or if you have done something that you feel is unethical or wrong. That's a similar sensation. When you hear something that is untrue and when you do something that is wrong, there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect. Your subconscious mind is trying to create a connection that's just not there. It's like, oh, I believe this, but I did this. I believe that this is what's best for me. I know that this is what's best for my body, but I ate this. right? There's a disconnect that happens there. It's a feeling of being out of alignment, okay? And the vibration of truth, it also has a feeling. There's also a sensation that's created in your body, right? The frequency of truth creates sensations in the body that are similar to the feelings when you make a decision that is good for you, right? When you make a decision that's aligned with your soul journey, with your highest timeline. Even when you make a good decision like eating a healthy meal or completing a workout, the relief of speaking your truth, right? Or taking a major step, taking a step toward a major goal in your life, even a small step toward a major goal in your life. There's a frequency there, right? And it creates a sensation in your body. I want you to begin to notice, start paying attention to your body all the time, okay? When you're speaking, when you're in conversation, when you're making decisions, when you're eating. So you begin to familiarize yourself with the frequency of deception versus the frequency of truth. Okay? I want you to practice this and come back in the comments and tell me what you experienced. Now, I'm about to give you these steps to the activity that you can do at home to train yourself to recognize the frequency of truth. Okay, so be ready to take notes and be ready to give me some comments in the chat. I need somebody to just put like hello in the chat so I can see whether or not I'm still getting the comments. Okay, so I don't see anybody putting hello in the comments. I'm giving y'all a second to get your notes. Get ready to take notes real quick. I'm going to give you a step-by-step exercise that's going to help you to become familiar with the frequency of truth. Okay, you're going to get to the point where you just know instantly. That's a lie. That feels true. That feels like a lie. Oh, that resonates. Imagine the areas of your life that this is going to help you in. This can help you in business. This can help you in relationships. This can help you in your parenting skills. This is a survival skill that you do not want to be without. Okay? Now, okay, so here's the activity. Okay? And you can think of this as like a game, right? Or a lighthearted meditation. Okay? You can make a lighthearted meditation out of it. Okay? Now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to quiet yourself. I want you to get somewhere still and quiet. Okay? Same way you would do if you were about to meditate or journal, right? And I want you to start out with saying true statements out loud. A simple true statement like, my name is Pangea. That could be a statement I could use. My name is Pangea. That's a true statement, right? That's a true statement. Okay, simple. It's not any heavy emotion attached to it. That's what I mean by simple. Okay, it's direct, it's to the point, and it's not emotional. Okay, because we don't want to conjure up emotions, unnecessarily. Okay, so I would start out with a statement like, "My name is Pangea," and notice the quiet confirmation in your spirit. Right, so you're gonna put your name into the statement, and just notice the quiet confirmation in your spirit. Nothing weird comes up, just peace when you say, "My name is," whatever your name is, right? Now, I want you to do this again, stating out loud your favorite hobbies, your favorite places to visit. Say, I love your favorite people in the world, right? And notice the peace. Notice that quiet confirmation in your spirit. Maybe some pleasant feelings come about, but notice, where do you feel it in your body? Notice your breathing. Notice your heart rate. Notice the energy right here in the room with you, right? Notice the energy in your energetic field. Okay? Take some notes about it. Just anything that you notice. How pleasant it is, how peaceful it is. Just the agreement between you and yourself. The agreement between your inner voice and your outer voice that you're speaking aloud. Okay? Notice that your brain doesn't give you a whole bunch of questions and a bunch of flack about what you're saying. Okay? Simple. Okay? Now, and don't rush through the exercise either. I want you to take your time. Like I said, take notes. Okay? Noticing the different feelings that wash over you. Now, I want you to do another step. I want you to start over and say, "My name is," but then I want you to put in a false name. Okay? A name that is not your name. A name that you cannot relate to. That's foreign to you. Okay? So if I said, "My name is Sally," that feels totally foreign to me. I get a weird little tingle here, a little feeling here. Strangeness, right? There's no match. There's a lack of connection to that statement for me. Okay? And I want you to sit quietly and do the other statements. Okay? The statements about your favorite place to go, right? And but I want you to say, instead of saying, "I love going to this place," or my favorite place to go is, I want you to say, "I can't stand to go to this place." I recently had a beautiful trip to Jamaica. It was gorgeous. I love the atmosphere. Loved it. If I sit here and say, "I can't stand Jamaica," it was awful. I didn't enjoy my time there at all. It just was not beautiful. It was rainy. It was cloudy. That feels so weird. There's a disagreement that I feel right in this area. Okay? I can sense my body and my psyche struggling to connect to that statement. Okay? And I'm noticing the true pictures of what actually what actually happened on that trip, how beautiful it actually was, popping up in my mind. There's conflict between the feelings in my body, the thoughts in my mind, and the statement that I just said and heard myself say, right? And you can do this with all the statements: your favorite place, your favorite hobbies, the people that you love. Say that you can't stand them. Don't conjure up. Don't go too far and make yourself conjure up some unnecessary emotions, because we know we manifest from our emotions, right? But we're just going to keep it simple. Instead of saying, I love so and so, I really don't like them. I can't stand them. And notice the conflict that shows up within your energetic space. Okay? Now, that is the frequency of falsehood. Just the lack of confirmation in your spirit. Notice the absence of connection to those statements. Practice these statements, both the true statements and the false statements, often. Okay, and you can, and as you get practice with this, you know, change up your statements. You can make a true statement and a false statement about what you ate for dinner last night. You can make up a true statement or a false statement about where you live. You can make up a true statement. You can come up with a true statement and a false statement about where you work, right? Change it up. Okay? So that you're going further and further with this exercise and not making yourself immune to it. Okay? But I want you to really take your time and take notes. And as you do this over time, you'll notice more and more things about how you feel when you're in the frequency of truth versus how you feel when you're in the frequency of a lie, of deception. And what will begin to happen is you'll get really good at this over time. You'll become increasingly familiar with the frequencies of truth versus lies over time. And when you get really good at it, you're gonna be catching lies left and right. You'll notice when someone says something and there is a disconnect with that statement. Because your subconscious mind knows all things. You're going to get to the point where you're able to recognize, no, that caused my mind to ask too many questions. That felt foreign to me. Somebody can say something and something within you will just go, something about that statement just wasn't true. That was not the frequency of truth. Okay? And you'll even catch yourself in lies. You'll even catch yourself in lies. You'll catch yourself saying something that is not 100% true. And you say, I just can't do that. There's no way possible I can do that. And then your mind will go, well, isn't there some way? Aren't you capable? Might you be hiding behind fear? Is that an excuse? You'll even catch yourself lying to yourself. And that's where the real work begins. That is where the real work begins. When you start catching yourself in untruths, right? It's important to know when the outside world is lying to you or inviting you to believe a deception, to become anxious, to become depressed, to become whatever type of emotional trigger you want to name, right? But when you start catching the conflicts within yourself, the internal conflicts, that's where the real work begins. Okay? So I thank you guys so much for joining me. I apologize if for some reason the comments stopped coming through halfway through. I hate that. I hate that because I really love talking to you guys and I really love answering your questions. But you can always come back to the video, put your comment up here, put your question up here, and I do come back and check. I do come back and check for questions. Okay. So I would love to know what your experiences were with this when you try out this technique. And I'd love to answer your questions. Okay. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And every Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Central. If you like this content, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share the video. Don't forget to turn on the notifications. And if you want to find more content like this, check out the Elemental Soul. Okay, the Elemental Soul. Okay, I'm gonna put the link to the website, theelementalsoul.com, in the description box. I have content going up on the app by the end of this month. But right now there's other content creators on there that have great content like this up. Okay, and you can either go to the website, or you could just go ahead and download the app from the Apple Store or Google Play Store. There's free content there, and you can also subscribe and become a member. Okay. All right. Well, I love you all. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I really appreciate this time with you, and I wish you peace, love, light, and the frequency of truth. Good night.